Hi, happy Sunday. I'm just going to have a little chat. I'm feeling quite heightened, really. Not in like anxious way or anything, but continued thoughts, lots of thought streams, lots of interests, lots of sort of nudges to look into certain things, you know, aside from it being... What I'm trying to say is like I'm having to ground more. I'm having to breathe more. I'm having to sort of meditate more to get back into the present, into what's going on around me, you know, because I'm having sort of furious sort of need to sort of look into certain things. Like, it's really funny. I feel like what I would like now, you know, like the ideal thing for me, like if I won the lottery, I'm always like, oh, if you won the lottery, what would you do? Like, because you can talk about that with anyone, you know. And it's really interesting as well. But like the first thing that I would do, or would I do it? Because I don't know if I'd leave the kids for that long at their age they're at. When the time's right, I want to go to Peru and do an ayahuasca ceremony, because ayahuasca, I've never tried ayahuasca, and from the minute I heard about it when I was doing the psychedelic research years ago, I was like, that's for me. That is for me. It's like, that's my brew. I feel like I know it is. And magic mushrooms felt so familiar, like home, and I called them like my witchy little teachers. And it was just so fucking helpful for me, in shattering boundaries and illusions, but understanding that I'd put them there, you know. So I was able to, and I think, you know, I was very sensible about it all, you know. I'm actually quite a responsible person, although it sounds like I'm not when I'm, you know, sort of chatting shit on here. But it was always, you know, sort of a sacred experience in a way that I knew when it was going to be. I was working myself up to it. I'd got set in perfectly, you know, house to myself, right frame of mind, meditate for like half a day before, you know, ingesting or whatever. And, you know, serious sort of working through my own psyche with like notebook and pen and looking around. And I'm very interested in psychedelics. Like, I guess that I would describe myself as like an explorer, like of these states, which to me are no different to states which are accessible when we start to free ourselves during the awakening, you know, and probably some of the crazy sort of astral stuff or dream stuff or dark night of the soul stuff that many of us have experienced as well. So it's very interesting to me. I don't know where I was going with that. It's just completely gone. I'm not sure. I'll move on because I've got a lot of stuff on my mind and a lot of scribbles. But basically, I'm feeling like drawn back into more of the things that were calling me earlier on in my awakening. And I'm starting to feel like it, you know, I wasn't ready for this sort of information overload at the time. You know, I was going through so much, like in my head and in my actual life, you know, that I just sort of, I was like, nope, I'll have, you know, enough of this. Enough of this ridiculousness, you know, because I thought I'd already sort of formed my opinion about certain things. So, you know, the way I was perceiving aliens, or how everybody else was perceiving aliens and things like that. And just things always jarring because I'd not allowed myself to explore and understand my own interpretation of aliens, you know. And so this is kind of like what I'm doing and what I think we're all doing and what life is about and why life is so mysterious and magical, because they are our answers and they are within, and it is our puzzle, like I said in the last video. And it's all, you know, it's all so fucking interesting. But I've had so much synchronicity in terms of certain things, Orion, Sirius, Pleiades, ancient symbology, ancient linguistics, all these etymology as well, and looking and thinking and wondering about all these things that have kind of always been around, but you just never think about deeply. And like, I'm thinking about everything so deeply now. I'm so immersed and amazed with even the most small things in life, you know, that I'm finding these old topics and things so interesting and exciting. They're really sort of like tickling me. They're doing it for me. I'm like, oh yeah, life is great. Life is, you know, and while I'm healing myself, you know, I'm going to be thinking of my own sort of theories of everything. And I think that is, you know, the whole point. It's part of it. It's our right. And it's funny, I watched the Truman Show last night for the first time ever, and yeah, it was very interesting on many different levels. I'm not going to like start decoding it because I know it's been done by so many people before, and yeah, very interesting. But what I feel like I'm trying to do personally is like I'm still not buying the simulation theory 100%, not how it's been spun or understood or presented by whoever and whatever I've come across so far, but it's understanding the holographic nature of the universe, of this realm and the world more for me, and for me to try and sort of understand and feel into how I'm perceiving that exactly, what that means, what, you know, it's like, and again, I don't know what for, just for me to write my own shit one day, or for me to just, but for me to have any sort of formed opinion at this stage in my journey seems really stupid and foolish to me, and it shocks me still that everybody is so 100% on their own sort of knowings or opinions about things. And yeah, I was pondering yesterday as well, because I know that my personality type has changed over this awakening period from an INFJ to an ENFP. And granted, I've only done these two tests twice, but I would hope and presume, and I had the intention and felt like I was doing it honestly, you know, as I was answering the questions of both tests. But obviously the answers are worked out on the questions, and the personality types are worked out on the answers which you give to certain questions, you know. So I had changed, which I felt was right, you know. I have changed, and thank God. I think that's the whole point, you know, to evolve through the wheel of the archetypes, you know, not to get stuck on one of them. So it's like, you know, a lot of people cling on to, you know, I am this type of way, and I always said, like, I was an introvert, and you know, it's not like now I'm going, oh, I'm an extrovert now because it's ENFP, but it's almost like the more I knew myself and laid off myself and got to be truer and authentic, the more, the less of an introvert I felt like. Although, you know, obviously I marry up to that idea in so many other ways. I still would, you know, one or the other. Again, these are polarities, aren't they? But I'd still probably go introvert over extrovert, you know. But I can definitely be an absolute dickhead in public, and that, you know, not be sort of ashamed by that either. So yeah, it was funny the other day actually, because sometimes I think if I was a man, it would look really crazy. I would look like a paedophile sometimes, because like I'm like, everyone calls me. No, they don't. I've called myself this. Oh my God, everyone calls me. They don't. My friend once did. The Pied Piper, because like wherever I go, there's like kids following me, and it happens like in play centres and things. You know, when I take my kids to the play centre, like I'm not one of those mums that will sit and have a coffee. Like my kids don't let me either, and it's just more fun and better experience all round if I just do what they say. But obviously I'm participating, I'm enjoying myself, because I'm still accessing play in my adulthood, you know. So anyway, And I always end up with all the waifs and strays, you know, and they're so cheeky. They'll follow me back to the table and they'll take whatever food or drink I've got. And, you know, they'll even ask me for money for things. Like, I don't give them the money, you know, I'm like, go and ask your mummy. But yeah, but outside school the other day, waiting for my little boy to come out, and my little girl's 3, and there's all these other little toddlers playing around, and you know, they wanted me to play tig and chase them all around, and all the kids get involved, and so I'm like, you know, sort of doing it, not full throttle or anything, because I'm still a little bit of a grown-up, but I'm messing about, I'm chasing them a bit and whatever, and making some noises. And then I looked up and I saw all the sort of mums and dads and grandmas and granddads dropping off the kids, just sort of staring like, what is this thing? Me, you know? A couple of nice smiles, but, you know, just sort of horror on most people's faces. And it makes me laugh because I'm 34 and, you know, you don't really see many other 34-year-olds doing shit like that. And when I do, I'm like, hello, kindred soul, hello. And it's not often. So that's upsetting, you know. It's like observing sort of the standard of miserable mothers of which I come in contact with. Oh, God. But anyway, I feel like I've just been bigging myself up then. And now I'm like a bit embarrassed and ashamed, and I can't even remember what I was saying apart from people call me the Pied Piper, which they don't. Oh, that's a full-on ramble. 11:44. Number synchronicities are crazy. I've seen a lot of 11:11s recently, 555 again, and 144, which I see quite a bit as well, so interesting. I've got a lot of scribbles down here, but I don't even know what I've said or where to start, so I might just leave it. No clue what I've just said, but I definitely feel better. It's come out of my head. Oh, that's what I wanted to say before I go. I discovered last night, while I was looking at the YouTube Studio app, that there's like hidden comments, loads of hidden comments, which I've never seen before, from like a year ago as well, you know, even longer than. And some were in a folder that said held for review, and some were in a folder that said most likely spam, and none of them seemed suspicious or, you know, that they should have been segregated in the slightest. To me, it didn't make sense. A lot of it were from people that continue to correspond with me in comments now, and yeah, so it was very, very sort of like, I was like, oh my fucking God. Because I've put comments on people's things before, and then when I've looked, I'm like, where is my comment gone? Because I don't comment often. I'm not one of those that will, you know, sort of like leave my scent around. I'm pretty private, but, you know, when I'm feeling in the mood or when I'm wanting to support someone, I'm there. And so I usually sort of make an effort with my comment, and so I'm sometimes like annoyed when it doesn't show up. So I'd got loads of long comments, really nice, cool, profound, amazing, relevant comments going back like a year, like 30, 40, 50 comments, I don't know. So I'm really sorry. Like, if anybody's written a comment that's not shown up or I've not responded to, I pressed the ticks to them all yesterday because they're all nice. Apart from one saying, you know, I am your God. It was all in capitals, you know, from some creeper, obviously. Who knows who it was, like a year ago or something, you know. I am the only God you have, and all this sort of crazy chat. So I binned that one off. But, you know, the rest I pressed a tick to, but then I didn't know which video they were corresponding to. So apologies. I'm really... I would respond to everything, you know, and even when somebody once commented on one of my videos, it just said, die snake, and I was like, oh, you know, that's a bit fucking nasty, innit? Because I've still got a problem with that, you know, and thank God I have somehow managed to stay away from trolls, you know, so far, like, and I can handle myself, so I'm not bothered, and maybe I've got the right thing. But yeah, I think because I kept so private with this channel, and I've tried not to promote myself, and I've shielded myself, and so many cool, amazing people have asked me if I want to, you know, like do like chat and put it on a video and stuff. And I've just been like, yeah, sounds good. And then I've been like, no, just shriveling back up and just thinking, no, I'm not, it's for whatever reason, I am not sort of, I feel like, I don't know, whoever should be listening to me will find me in a different way. I don't know. So yeah, and someone said the other day, I think it might have been Scott said the other day, solitude is his oxygen. And I was like, oh God, I feel that so much. But what is so profound for me is that what I'm acknowledging for my personal awakening, the biggest thing that I'm doing is I'm learning how to love. And it's like I've always felt love, and empathy for things, but I think because of my own sort of personal trauma, it's like sometimes I feel like the words ruin it because we've all had experiences from each polarity, but my personal conditioning or programming or whatever, my experience, no, forgotten what I was going to say then, but I'll finish with something else. Oh no, that was it, learning to love. Yeah, I feel like I've never sort of known what love is, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. And like, it's quite sad, and I can have a sit and a cry when I think about this sometimes. And again, I've had to remove judgment and blame because I'm now able to feel love, for myself, and therefore I'm able to sort of feel it for others. But a lot of my journey as a parent as well, it's like I had the instinctive protection and the instinctive sort of love, but really, what is love? Love is so multifaceted. It's incredible, and I'm still working out what this is, but it's like, to simplify it for me, it's like love is presence and love is connection. And I don't think that we remember and sort of portray this energy enough. It's difficult for us to understand how simple it is, in some ways. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of thoughts going through my head, I don't know. I'll do some more videos in the week, I think. But yeah, it's like I learn more about love every day, and how to love, and what love is, and all the different facets of love, and that label, that feeling, that vibration, and holding on to it, and encapsulating it, and being it, and understanding it. And yeah, and you need nothing to love but a heart and a soul. Right. Yeah. I'm going to put something interesting in the description box from a guy called Pierre Sabac, who is floating my boat big time at the moment with the information, which he's sort of portraying in his own way, decoding, I guess, or whatever. And I'm finding renewed enthusiasm for things like symbology and etymology, sort of these more ancient type of things. And I will never stop sort of thinking about my own theory of everything. It is too interesting and exciting, but things feel very wonderfully magical at the minute, in terms of I feel super connected to the stars and certain systems, and I'm understanding my own interpretation and feel of the essence of alien, and what that even is for me specifically, and everything's sort of coming round to these sort of beautiful, I've been drawing wheels while I've been talking here, circles with like spokes round them, and I feel like it's the whole, the soul, the archetypes, where we're moving through the lessons, the archetypes, the stages of the hero's journey, whatever. So it's like, hold off on judgment of everyone else, whatever sort of stage of their own evolution or the game that they're at, and, you know, just sort of keep going. Keep going. Useless video this, but I'm really happy that I'm going ramble, and then that takes the pressure off, because I genuinely don't know what I've just said. Genuinely. Yeah. I'm full in here. I'm going to have to do a lot of videos soon. This is probably just one for me. I think I might label this just one for me. Or not. Bye.